All right, let's talk about something that I'm sure keeps a lot of you up at night: cloud identity. Specifically, trying to wrangle identity across AWS, Azure, and GCP. You know the struggle. Today, we're going to lay out a blueprint for a scalable access review process that actually works. We're talking about moving from those endless, soul-crushing spreadsheets to real, automated security. Let's get into it.
So let me ask you this. Does this question hit a little too close to home? You know that feeling, right? Drowning in a sea of spreadsheets, trying to figure out who has access to what, and more importantly, why. You spend weeks, maybe even a month, chasing down managers, and what do you get? A half-hearted rubber stamp approval. It's a nightmare.
And look, if you're feeling this, you are definitely not alone. This is a massive problem all across the industry, and it actually has a name: access review fatigue. It's that total state of exhaustion that comes from a process that feels both critically important and, at the same time, completely impossible to do right.
Okay, so let's really dig into this. Let's break down exactly why this problem is so incredibly hard to solve. Because, we've got to understand the beast before we can even think about taming it.
So let's look at the official definition here. You see the words exhaustion and ineffectiveness. And yeah, those are big. But the most critical part, the part that really matters, is leading to security risks. Because when your reviewers are tired and overwhelmed, they start making mistakes. And in our world, those mistakes can lead to very, very serious breaches.
And let's be super clear about something. This is not a people problem. It's not a personal failing. Your team isn't bad at their jobs. The system is broken. The sheer complexity of our modern multi-cloud environments has just completely outpaced our old, manual, human-centric ways of doing things.
And this table right here, this visualizes the core of that complexity perfectly. You've got AWS with its IAM roles and policies. Then you jump over to Azure, and it's all about Azure AD with its users and groups. And of course, GCP has its own distinct IAM system. Each one of these platforms is like its own little universe with its own rules. Now multiply that by hundreds or thousands of users and countless permissions, and you've got a recipe for absolute chaos.
So how do we actually fix this mess? Well, the solution, it starts with a really fundamental shift in how we think about the problem. We have to stop getting lost in the weeds, looking at every individual tree, and start looking at the entire forest. This right here, this is the mantra. I want you to let this sink in for a second. Stop reviewing people. Start reviewing access. What does that really mean? It means we stop asking questions like, does Jane still need this permission? And we start asking, is this access pattern itself still valid and secure? It's a game changer. So this whole new strategy really breaks down into 3 simple but really powerful steps. First, you've got to shift your mindset away from individuals. Second, we're going to group all those permissions into logical, meaningful bundles. And third, and this is the magic, we automate everything we possibly can. Let the machines do all that heavy lifting for us. Okay, so let's dive into that second step, which is all about intelligent grouping. This is where we start to create order from the chaos. This is how we turn that absolute mess of individual permissions into something a human being can actually understand and review effectively. And this slide just illustrates the difference so perfectly. The old way, it's this meaningless, context-free question: does Jane need these 37 permissions? Who knows? But the new way, it's strategic. Is the database admin prod role still correct? That question forces a real conversation about function and risk, which is what security governance is actually supposed to be about. See, you're not just reviewing a person anymore. You're attesting that a specific job function requires a very specific, well-defined set of privileges. So, what do these groups actually look like in practice? Well, they can be based on job roles, something like DevOps engineer for staging. Or they could be based on risk level, like a group for all high-risk production access. You could even group them by application or by environment. The key, the most important part, is that every single group has a clear, understandable purpose that someone can actually make a decision on. Now, once you have these logical groups, these beautiful, understandable bundles of permissions, now you can unleash the real power-up: automation. This is how you make your new, smarter process pretty much run on its own. And here's the philosophy behind all of this. Good security automation isn't about adding more hurdles or more red tape. It's about building paved roads. It's about making the right thing, the secure thing, the default, and frankly, the easiest path for everyone to take. So where can you get the biggest wins? Just imagine this. automatically attaching logs that prove a permission was actually used in the last 90 days right to the review ticket. No more guessing. Or even better, using just-in-time access so that those super high-risk permissions only exist for a few hours before they automatically disappear. Or how about instantly deprovisioning a user the second they're offboarded in your HR system? This stuff isn't science fiction anymore. This is modern, scalable governance.
So when you combine that intelligent grouping with smart automation, the payoff is it's huge. It's that rare win-win situation in tech we're always looking for. You dramatically improve your security posture, while at the very same time you reduce all that manual, painful work for your team. And this chart just says it all. Look at the manual review side. Time spent is through the roof, security risk is way up there, but look at team morale. It's in the basement. People hate doing this work. Now look what happens when you automate. Time spent plummets, risk goes down, and your team's morale goes way up. Because now your highly skilled engineers can focus on valuable work, not on just ticking boxes in a spreadsheet.
This is the new reality that you can actually build. A world where access reviews take a few hours, not a few weeks. A world where auditors absolutely love you because you have automated proof for everything. Your team is happier, they're more productive, and best of all, security transforms from that frustrating bottleneck into a genuine business enabler.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Don't try to boil the ocean. What is the one single high-risk role, think production database administrator, that you can properly define, group, and start automating reviews for this quarter? Just start there. That's how you begin to build the future of scalable governance.